Hello, everybody. I'm a little under the weather, so my voice doesn't sound the best, but we gotta talk. How can Star Wars be saved? We are living in a post Kathleen Kennedy era, finally, after all these long years. How, oh, how can Disney save Star Wars?
I wonder what kind of ideas do they have? What is your idea? How would you even start at this point?
I have tons of ideas. Now, I don't know if they're going to be bold enough to do anything like what I'm talking about, but I think that making Andor really had a bit of an effect on the fan base. I think that it was a huge win for Star Wars fans. Even if it wasn't exactly what Star Wars needs, I think they should do something that Star Wars does need, but in that same vein. But they need to get well. One thing that I do believe in is them treating Star Wars eras and Star Wars fandoms as sort of separate things. Original trilogy fans are original trilogy fans.
Mm-hmm.
Prequel fans are prequel fans. Clone Wars fans are Clone Wars fans. Right? Sequel fans are, I don't know, doing something. I don't know. There's 5 of them, so you probably don't have to pander to too many of them. But
What do you mean? Do you want them to make separate movies?
No, well, I want them to. What I would do if I were helming Star Wars is have something ongoing for every era all the time.
Oh,
That way, each fandom is fed.
right.
Not the sequels.
Except that one.
They can die. Their fandom can die because their fandom is fake. They're not real. So let's go on to the real Star Wars fans and greenlight a Luke Skywalker animated show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this show I would use to completely retcon the sequels in a very soft way. It would never be overt. It would never be obvious, like, hey, we're going to retcon the sequels. I would never say that. I would never, ever say it. And I would try to just not touch on that part of Luke's life. I would try to sort of worm my way around it and ignore all the canon that was created.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have Luke visit Padme's memorial on Naboo, would be one of the first early episodes. Have Luke and Leia visit Padme's grave. I think that would be a really nice way to tie in the prequels to the original trilogy because they kind of feel a little disjointed. So you could use this animated show to sort of pull it together. And it would be cool to see Luke and Leia reestablish the new government for the New Republic from Naboo, where their mother, who had fought for democracy her entire life, you know, is from. And I know Palpatine's from there as well, but they could do almost like this sort of like wash of history within the Star Wars universe, you know. Palpatine's from there. Yeah, so is Padme, our mother. And they could sort of, you know, blossom democracy from Naboo. And it would help to, you know, redeem Naboo probably in the galaxy's eyes because I'm sure people don't like Naboo after Jar Jar Binks got Palpatine into power. Anyway, that's the Luke Skywalker, Han, Leia, you know, show. I would have, by the way, this show would keep going. I would have like 10 seasons. Each season maybe be a year and follow Luke for 10 years. Luke, Han, Leia. I would have them get married, have kids. And there is how you retcon the sequels. Luke gets a wife named Mara Jade. I would bring Mara Jade in, and that's how you get the EU fans in. The fans that were keeping Star Wars alive for all those long years.
Right.
They love Mara Jade. Guess what? She's canon. Here she is. And she's Luke's wife. Let's ignore the sequels. They can make up whatever book. Oh, she was dead by that time. Sure, whatever you want, guys. Sure, she's dead. Whatever. But in the animated show, she's there. She's going through canon, okay? I would ignore the sequel canon at all costs. At all costs. It's a toxic area. It's going to get people upset. Don't touch it. Leave it as is.
Right. That would be the Good way to do it, I guess.
Yeah, freeze it in time, just like Disney froze the prequel era in time.
Mm-hmm.
They don't mention it, right? Other than the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I would make also a short series about Mara Jade and her role during the Empire, and then add her into the animated show with Luke later. So you'd have a, kind of establish her character. Who is she? What was she doing during the Empire? Have the Emperor's Hand story, kind of shorten it. Create a shorter canon for her, a more palatable, easy for casual fans to like her character. Make it a more casual character. I would also make a Disney Plus show for adults, a la Andor. This is what I was talking about the top 10 bounty hunters in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
You'd follow their brutal tales as they backstab and dominate in the Star Wars underworld. Lots of action, lots of adult-focused stories. Like, I loved Andor. I was so happy to see that every single Tuesday. It was such a fun show.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't go that high budget with it. It's, they spent a crap ton of money on it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't go that high for the show, but yeah, I think bounty hunter stories, more, like I said, action-based, would be really fun to see each week.
Mm-hmm.
And you could create all new bounty hunters. You could pick an era for this to be. It doesn't really have to be like Boba Fett or IG-88 or anything, although that would be great. Disney Plus would be a place where you show stories in Star Wars that don't involve wars. So Disney Plus would be saved for like non-war stories, smaller stories.
That family could enjoy.
Yeah, it's a more casual experience. The movies would be the place where you show the wars and the major events within the Star Wars galaxy, and those would be Star Wars, blah blah blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a bit of a weird one, but Star Wars Christmas specials. They need to make like a couple of them.
True. People love Christmas movie.
Of course, make a few Star Wars ones of different eras. So you'd make like 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
And each one is a different Star Wars era. So you do a prequel era, do a little bit of comedy, do whatever, just make a nice, fun Christmas story within Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what you'd do. Maybe you could try to do a better version of what George tried to do, but I don't know. And finally, after all of this is said and done, after you do all this stuff, these projects are designed to heal Star Wars. That is the point. You're reestablishing a base. We care about you as a fandom. This is the kind of things you want. You want Luke? Here he is. You want Mara Jade? Here she is. You don't have to apologize. All you have to do is just make better projects that honor the fandom. And that brings me to the next point. We need a new Star Wars time period. So they need to move forward. We need new characters. We need a new time period. The ideas that I mentioned before would be like a 5 to 8 year plan. And I would tell fans that that's our 5 to 8 year plan to do all this stuff. And Dave, in that time period, while he's hiring these people to do these shows, can also be working with other creators to create the new Star Wars timeline, a brand new era. All 3 of them need to be a cohesive, solid story with a purpose. This has to have a point. Unlike the sequels, this needs to have a purpose, and it needs to be cohesive. I want new types of troopers. I want new ships. I want, I don't want them to basically mention George's era of Star Wars in this new Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Unless by legend, like they're in the background, there's a statue of Yoda or something, right? Mm-hmm. Like when it's appropriate to, go ahead, mention it, but try not to. Make it a single thing. I think we need a new Star Wars era very, very badly. Yeah, like I said, new ships, new designs, everything. A new type of Jedis, new type of Sith. I want to see some cool stuff here, Mm-hmm. A lot of people want to see the Old Republic. I think that era is done. I think, why bother? I don't think they can really do justice to it, so let's leave it alone. Mm-hmm. And this brings me to my final point. I want Kathleen Kennedy charged with treason against the Star Wars Empire. I want her arrested. I want her thrown in jail. Why have there been no charges laid on her as of late? Okay? I want to see her I want to see her arrested. I just watched that Star Wars girl rant on the subject, and it was deeply satisfying. It healed a small part of my soul watching her get upset.
Yes.
Because I feel the same way. I am very upset. I had a deep seething anger watching The Last Jedi to the point where I didn't watch movies. I love movies for an entire year. A whole year I didn't watch movies.
That's a really long time for you because he watched.
I watch a lot of movies, but I was too upset. I was too upset with a Hollywood system that would allow this to happen to Luke Skywalker. I was so deeply upset. I don't think I've ever been that mad in my life watching The Last Jedi. I could barely get through it. I think I was yelling like halfway through. But anyway, that's in the past. Right. And we're now in the present and heading into the future. And I want to be optimistic about Star Wars going forward. I'm happy that we have a new president. Let's hope Dave does right by us. I think he will. You know, people say this and that online. So what? Let's give Dave a chance here, guys.
Yes, and also we already saw the positive changes already. Even Rocket League,
yeah.
give you that animation right away, exploding the Death Star.
Yeah, in the shop, in the Rocket League shop, the day after Kathleen Kennedy's retirement, the Death Star explosion goal animation appears in the store. Hilarious.
That was super funny.
Hilarious. The end of the Empire. I could almost hear the Ewoks singing in the forest.
The funny part is the right after.
It was right after.
Yeah, they were waiting for it.
They were waiting. They had it loaded. They're like, oh.
They made it long time ago.
Drop it. Oh yeah, it's old, but they relaunched it. They put the Vader car in there and stuff too.
Yeah, pretty funny.
2 different Darth Vader cars. Is Kathleen Kennedy Darth Vader? No. She's the Emperor.
Yes.
One more little side project I'd love to see. I've talked about it on this channel before, but it's Star Wars Trapper.
Trapper?
Yeah, Star Wars Trapper, and this would be a low budget, like super low budget Disney Plus series, which follows a guy who has to trap Star Wars creatures for the Geonosis Arena.
Oh.
You'd have him trapping different creatures throughout the Star Wars galaxy, and you could have it sort of be adjacent to the Star Wars universe. Like he goes to the abandoned Echo base after a rebel trooper tells him about Wampas, because he's got to trap a Wampa. So the whole episode, this could be the Christmas episode, by the way. This would be a fun episode. But yeah, he would be trapping creatures in Star Wars. And I think it would be a really fun show. He'd be trapping them for the Geonosis Arena. But I guess the Geonosians are extinct by the time the Battle of Hoth. Well, anyway, who cares? Do it anyway. Be hilarious. You know, have it be a little fun, a little like spooky. You got these creatures that are really super deadly. He's not a Jedi. He can't, it'd be funny if he caught the one that Luke cut their arm off.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this one's got a missing arm. Perfect. Get me a weak one. It's much easier to capture. Right. It would just be fun, And then the end of the show would be him getting his family back. The whole thing would be his family was like sold into slavery or something, and he was getting them out of slavery. There's a lot of slavery in Star Wars. Not in modern Star Wars, but I'm not saying they should add slavery back in, but they kind of should, because it's in Star Wars, guys. Okay? It makes it a scary place.
Yes.
Star Wars is a very scary universe. You would not want to be there. Evil's literally real with the dark side. It's literally real. It's not some etheric concept like in our world. It's real. It's right there. Look at a Night Sister. Tell me they're not evil. They're evil. Well, that's what I would do if I were in charge of Lucasfilm. I think I would greenlight a bunch of really cool projects like that. I would try to keep these on the medium budget side. And Star Wars Trapper I would put on a low budget just to try and, I would try to like get fans with lower budget series that are just sort of more fun, that don't really matter, just to heal the fandom. I would be trying to heal the fandom more than anything. That would be my goal in the first 5 years, to just make people appeased, get them back, then show them something cool and new. That's what I would do.
They must have a lot of things to do because they gotta do plans, so many plans and everything.
Hmm. Well, the Star Wars galaxy is such a rich world that George created. So,
Hmm.
you know, don't let him down, Dave. Don't let him down, Dave.
Hmm. Just like that clip that Catherine Kennedy is saying that she doesn't have any resources and all that stuff.
Hmm.
It's all opposite. So Dave can use all that to fix this. So
He could.
yeah.
He could just recanonize some of the books or comics. You know,
Mhm.
I hear the Vader comics are very
So
popular.
many.
Yeah, I've heard the Vader comics are popular. I haven't read any of them, but
Mm.
yeah. Well, let us know what your ideas are for fixing Star Wars. Can it be fixed? What do you think? Let us know in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe.